Hey there, welcome to the channel. This is Marcus from Heeltoe Automotive, and today we're working on our Honda Element. The window regulator and motor assembly broke. It's been slowly falling down over time. I've been propping it up for a little while, but today it's time to replace the part. Hopefully this Element shirt will get me in tune with this Honda Element, get it fixed today so I can drive it in the rain. First things first, to get the new part. I ordered a new window regulator and motor assembly from Honda directly. We like to go genuine Honda parts, stuff like this. I mean, we care about this car, and so the best parts really are a good way to go. It costs a little bit more than some of the aftermarket ones you'll find, but to ensure smooth, quiet, and consistent operation, getting a genuine part is usually the best. And so I bought this part on oem.heeltoeauto.com. That's our genuine parts website, where you can buy basically anything available for any Honda or Acura. I got to start the job by removing this door panel. There's some tools that you know you're going to need in order to do this job. Your trusty 10mm socket wrench is definitely going to come in handy. I'm going to use this little pick here. Sometimes this is handy for popping things apart, and I'm going to probably need a flathead screwdriver, so I went in and grabbed one of those, and then a Phillips head screwdriver, which a little bit of power never hurt anybody. Alright, so remove the door handle first. Pop off that little cover. Those screws out. You gotta pop this off. And okay, our pick is gonna come in handy here. With the door handle off, we've got to get the actuator rod undone. So it's usually just a matter of popping off this little clip and spinning it to the side. Here's where a pick comes in handy. I'm going to use that to undo the actuator rod on the handle. A little wiggling, and out it comes. Undoing the door handle. First, I pulled the clip off the actuator rod, undo the harness with the power door lock. Alright, now we're going to have to come up here and pop this little cover off. Over here, pull that guy right off. Alright, now there's usually some kind of a screw behind the speaker bezel. Looks like there's not, but there are 3 screws holding the actual speaker on that go on top of the door panels. Alright, with these harnesses undone, door panel's off. Okay, here we have this vapor shield, and the regulator is going to be mounted to the door frame behind here. So we got to get this guy off. A lot of times it's a simple matter of just pulling. The adhesive here, you can usually stick it right back on once you're done. We do try not to touch it too much. The more you touch it, the less sticky it's going to be. Like with any sticky thing. You can see the regulator is held in by these 2 bolts at the top and these 2 bolts at the bottom. And it holds the glass on these 2 bolts right here. So the first thing we're going to need to do is unbolt it from the glass, and the glass is just going to float in the door. I'm hoping that I don't have to actually take the glass out. And then there's going to be some bolts for the motor also, because that mounts in here separately. Those are probably going to be behind here, so I think I have to remove a little more plastic. Oh yeah. Even though these clips are in a blind hole, you can get them out just by sneaking your pick between the clip and the door frame, and you can grab the little ears and pop it loose. probably a good idea. Get that out of the way. This is a slotted hole, so I'm actually not going to pull that one out all the way. I'm just going to loosen that one so that the whole thing doesn't fall apart in here. That way I can manipulate it a little bit easier. Same thing with the motor bolts. They do these, I think it's really thoughtful that Honda would do this so that you can actually install and remove this thing without having it all fall behind the door. So you can reach in through the speaker hole and get the motor out of its position. Good. And then, alright, now, oh yeah, this little clip here is still connected. Just get a little tool to pop that. Alright, regulator and motor out, and you can see the problem right here. Cable is doing all kinds of shit it shouldn't be doing. Looks like this is supposed to stay clipped in there, and it is no longer. You know, in certain situations like this, you can actually fix what broke on it, but now I think that shit broke. But we got a new one. Alright, here's our new not broken Honda regulator and motor assembly. They've got new bolts here for us already, so we don't have to worry about that. Transferring those over. Also, this one that goes in the slotted hole, pre-installed. Really thoughtful. Thank you, Honda. Thank you, thank you. Here, we got to make sure that these bolts are facing this way when we slide this guy in. Got that guy up there. Alright, cool. I'm going to go ahead and let's start up these other 3 bolts. When you're tightening down bolts, have some respect for the actual size of the bolt. These don't really need to be that tight. They're small bolts. Some people may ask, how tight should these bolts be? Like, what's the specs? And I'm going to answer you with, I have no idea. I have no idea what it is, but here's what I know. These are M6 bolts that are not very large. When we run them together, it's going to grab, pinch the door, snug, boom, done. That's how tight it needs to be. You can put a number on it if you want, but tell me who's actually going to go get a torque wrench and do exactly that. This isn't engineering work. This isn't an engine or a cylinder head. Alright, time to put the glass back in. Unfortunately, Honda positioned this motor just so the bolt holes are out of sight. Since the window regulator motor is just down a little bit, it's really hard to reach. So I'm just going to temporarily connect power to the windows so that I can move it up a little bit, make my life a little easier when it comes to tightening those things. Alright, so when you have to, this is a good tip, when you have to hang a bolt off the end of a socket and wants to fall out, what I find is if you take a little bit of plastic, just a little bit, you double over the plastic, put it over the cap of the socket. That was the other bolt that I just dropped. Window bolted in place. Now we got to reattach all these harnesses. Alright, everything is bolted back together. So now I can, this is not very sticky anymore. Now I can put this back, which is really just going to drape over here. Fortunately, I don't have any more of this adhesive right now. It'll cause a draft. Sometimes when you pull out your door panel, you're going to see stuff like this plastic hanging back behind here. That's left over from when the car was new. When the car was brand new, this plastic was covering the whole interior door panel to protect it for delivery. Now, when the technicians get the car in the shop to prepare it for sale, they just pull all that plastic off, and sometimes those remnants will remain. This door panel's got some damage to it. I wish I had a new one to put on here, but unfortunately right now I don't. So we're just going to throw this guy back on, remembering that we need to first connect all these plugs. Alright, something I screwed up that you won't want to screw up. This little screw right here, I forgot to pull that off. So this clip normally would come out, and you want to undo that screw before popping the door panel off. Because I didn't do that, I broke mine. So, don't do that. Alright, let's check that operation out. My auto up is not working. Why is that? I think that wasn't working before, to be honest. But she's up. There it goes. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video of me replacing the window regulator in my Honda Element. It really needed to happen because winter is really kind of upon us, and I won't be able to drive this car if the window doesn't close. So I really need to clear this spot out so we can get the TL in, because we've got a project going on with that. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and watch out for future videos on other cars that may be a little more entertaining than this one.